3. The role of the real estate licensee in the appraisal process. When we left Michael and Sarah, their appraisal had come in below the contract price, and everyone involved was trying to understand what happened. The lender accepted the appraisal as the basis for the loan. The seller questioned the value, and both buyers looked to their real estate agent for answers. Michael finally asked, "Can you just call the appraiser and have them change it?" That's a question many Arizona agents hear at some point in their careers. The answer is usually more complicated than clients expect. One of the most important responsibilities of a real estate professional is understanding where your role begins and where it ends. A knowledgeable agent provides market information, educates clients, manages expectations, and helps solve problems. An agent does not perform appraisals, determine market value for lending purposes, or attempt to influence an appraiser's independent opinion. This distinction protects everyone involved in the transaction. Let's look at a common situation. Imagine you're meeting with a homeowner in Chandler who wants to list their property. Before recommending a listing price, you prepare a comparative market analysis, commonly called a CMA. You research recent sales, active listings, expired listings, days on market, concessions, neighborhood trends, and current inventory. Based on your analysis, you recommend listing the home at $640,000. Your seller asks, "So this is basically an appraisal?" Here's where many agents get into trouble. The correct answer is no. A CMA is a pricing tool prepared by a licensed real estate professional to assist a client in making informed listing or purchasing decisions. While it relies on market data similar to an appraisal, it is not developed under USPAP standards and should never be represented as a formal appraisal. You may also hear the term broker price opinion, or BPO. A BPO is another opinion of value prepared by a real estate broker, typically for financial institutions, relocation companies, or asset managers. Like a CMA, a BPO is not an appraisal and cannot be presented as one. Although BPOs are less common in traditional residential transactions today, many Arizona brokers still perform them for investors and lenders. Understanding these differences helps avoid misleading clients and reduces the likelihood of complaints. Now let's return to Michael and Sarah's transaction. After reviewing the appraisal, you notice the appraiser used comparable sales that closed nearly 6 months ago. Since then, two very similar homes in the same subdivision sold at higher prices. You also know the seller recently installed a new roof and energy-efficient windows, but those improvements weren't mentioned in the appraisal report. Can you contact the appraiser? Yes. Should you argue about the value? Experienced brokers understand that the most effective communication is factual, professional, and supported by documentation. Rather than saying, "Your value is too low," a better approach is to provide information the appraiser may not have had when preparing the report. This could include recent comparable sales, permits for major improvements, a list of upgrades, or corrections to factual errors, such as an incorrect square footage measurement or missing bedroom. This may seem like a small difference, but it's an important one. Providing additional information supports the appraisal process. Attempting to persuade the appraiser to reach a predetermined value undermines the independence that federal law is designed to protect. Another responsibility of the real estate licensee is preparing clients for the possibility that an appraisal may not match the contract price. Many buyers assume that if they agreed to pay a certain amount, the appraisal will automatically support that price. Likewise, sellers often believe that multiple offers guarantee the property will appraise at the highest offer received. Neither assumption is necessarily true. An appraisal reflects the appraiser's opinion of market value on a specific date using available market evidence. Contract price is one piece of information considered by the appraiser, but it does not control the final opinion of value. This is why experienced brokers begin discussing appraisals early in the transaction instead of waiting until the report is delivered. Setting realistic expectations helps clients understand that an appraisal is part of the financing process, not a guarantee that the agreed upon purchase price will be supported. Finally, remember that professionalism matters. Appraisers, agents, lenders, escrow officers, inspectors, and title professionals all play different roles in the transaction. When everyone communicates respectfully and shares accurate information, transactions tend to move more smoothly, even when unexpected valuation issues arise. As we move into the next section, we'll follow Michael and Sarah through the actual appraisal process, from the time the lender orders the appraisal until the completed report is delivered. Understanding each step will help you better prepare your clients and avoid many of the misunderstandings that occur during escrow. Broker tip: before the appraiser visits the property, prepare a professional information package that includes recent comparable sales, a list of improvements with approximate completion dates, HOA information, special neighborhood amenities, and any relevant permits. Present the information as a helpful resource, not as an attempt to influence the final opinion of value. Online discussion. 1. Why is it important for a real estate licensee to understand the differences between a CMA, a BPO, and an appraisal? Answer. Each serves a different purpose and carries different legal and professional standards. A CMA and BPO assist with pricing decisions, while an appraisal is an independent opinion of value prepared by a licensed appraiser under USPAP. Understanding these differences helps agents avoid misleading clients and remain within the scope of their license. 2. If you believe an appraiser overlooked important information, what is the appropriate way to communicate your concerns? Answer. The appropriate approach is to provide factual, documented information, such as recent comparable sales, permits, or corrections to factual errors. Communication should remain professional and objective, without suggesting what value the appraiser should reach. 3. Why should agents discuss the appraisal process with clients before the appraisal is completed? Answer. Preparing clients early helps manage expectations and reduces surprises if the appraised value differs from the contract price. Educated clients are better equipped to understand their available options and make informed decisions if appraisal-related issues arise during escrow.